Hey there, Giant fans of fun. It's Fab, the theme park giant, and today it is Monday, August 21st, 2023, and I am in Hershey, Pennsylvania, visiting Hersheypark, one of the best theme parks in the country. They have really stepped up their game the last 15 years or so. Everything they do is pretty high quality at this point. I have not been here since they redid the front entrance, since they added Candymonium, and since they added this year's big attraction, Wildcat's Revenge, the new RMC that took an old, really rough wooden coaster named Wildcat and turned it into a much better ride, we're hoping. I've been to Hershey a few times. I love it here. Skyrush has been one of my top 10 steel coasters for many years. Hoping it's still running great. I'm ready to get on this. I'm ready to do her Wildcat's Revenge and just have a giant day of fun here at the park. I can't wait to get in here and start riding, so let's get in there. Come on, we're gonna have a giant day of fun. Let's go. Just outside of the park, you walk by the Hershey's Chocolate World, which is a free attraction. We'll check that out later today. And this is the first time I've been here since they changed the entryway, and this is way more impressive than it used to be. Wow. Much bigger and more open. It used to be so crammed. This is great. Well, I came on a Monday to try to avoid crowds, and it's going real well. Although it looked even busier over the weekend, so. Candymonium is new for me, but it's already an hour wait. I'm gonna head back to Wildcat's Revenge, and I'll just suck it up and wait for Candymonium later. So I waited about half hour, a little more for Wildcat Revenge. I bit the bullet and did get the unlimited skip the line pass here. It was $165 for the day. The park is super crowded and there's just too many rides I like here, so to me it was worth it. I've got the unlimited one. I think to skip each ride once it was $120. To have unlimited skips it was $165, so to me it was worth the extra $45 at that point, because I'm just gonna get as many Wildcat Revenge rides, Skyrush, Candymonium, all these, so it'll be worth it. Here's Wildcat's Revenge. I just did a front row on it. Skipped the entire line. It's probably about a 45-minute wait. And you get right up to the lockers with the fast lane. It's a great deal. And then no one was waiting for the front, so I waited one train. I don't think people realized what was going on in the station, but this thing is awesome. I'm gonna have to think about it, but it might be my third favorite RMC right now. We'll talk about it more later. The station really does look awesome. I love how they built that new big workshop for it. And I gotta hand it to this crew outside of like Steel Vengeance. They are easily the best at running an RMC. They've got 3 trains going. They're not really stacking too bad for, you know, an RMC, because you have to do the seat belts and then the lap bars, but they are moving things through. Great job, Hershey. give complimentary lockers for Wildcat's Revenge. Put them in on one side and you can grab your stuff on the other. Always nice when they do that. The sun is hot today, but it doesn't matter. This thing is incredible. It's running so fast right now. It's so smooth, it's so intense. I mean, it's what you expect from RMC, but yeah, one of my friends mentioned that this is like their perfect like smaller design. You can just tell they're so refined with everything right now. I think after 3 rides now, and I just did row 10, which one of the ride ops told me is the magic seat. I might agree with them on that, because that thing was balls to the wall crazy. It might be my second favorite RMC behind Steel Vengeance. I think it might be better than Iron Gwazi. This thing just doesn't let up at all. I will say the weird slow lift to start with is kind of odd, but I think it's all the space out the timing so they can run 3 trains. It is weird though. That part right there is so good. Great stall. Second half of the ride's pretty nuts too. What a great ride. And this is just a photo op, but I do love the trains. They have these Wildcats breaking through the front. And there are 3 different ones. There's like a white, a gray, and this darker one. Some of the coolest trains RMC's done, no doubt about it. You can't really see it here, but even the drop out of the station is pretty crazy in the back. Drops you right down. There's some little airtime hills just to get you warmed up for what's about to happen. But I don't know if anything gets you ready for that. See it doing the weird little chugging thing here at the start before it takes off. And there it goes. Very weird, very jerky. Hersheypark has a racing wooden coaster called Lightning Racers. It's a GCI. There's a lightning and thunder track. I used to really like this thing. It is showing its age. Some of these GCIs get a little rough as the years go on. This could use some love. I did see quite a bit of lumber sitting in like the infield of the ride. So maybe they're planning on some work in the off season, but it could use some. It's a little rough. Still fun. And the front entrance of the ride, it was a walk-on for both sides. This is like all the way in the back of the park. It's still pretty early in the day, so not many people have got back here yet. The front was just crowded. So yeah, I hightailed it back here and I'm gonna work my way back towards the front. And here's more of a look at Lightning Racers. It's over here kind of by the water park, so I don't want to film too much. They look really creepy. Also back here, there is an indoor, I think it's a spinning mouse. I can't remember. I rode it the year it opened back in 2016. I am not going to wait for this even with the fast lane. I had some friends here recently and they waited a long time to get on it because they needed the credit. So if you are coming and you want to ride this ride, I would make it a priority because the line is big and it is slow moving. of the more interesting coasters here at Hershey is Fahrenheit. A 98-degree drop. A lot of crazy inversions. They've got the Norwegian loop. It's a really fun ride. It looks like, I think they painted it this year. It looks really nice. This thing's a capacity nightmare though, because it's such small trains to do all these crazy maneuvers. So hopefully the fast lane's not too bad, because I do like Fahrenheit. And the fast track line isn't too bad. The normal line is brutal though. I just had my ride on Fahrenheit. It was probably a 45-minute line, and I walked I think I waited 2 trains with the fast track. Ride was running really well. Pretty smooth still, a little rough in a couple spots, but all in all, still a really good ride. I really like Fahrenheit. I know it's kind of a, I don't know, give or take for a lot of enthusiasts, but I do like it. I gotta say too, the fast track, for how much it was, I mean, it was steep, $165, but so far I have skipped entire lines for the 2 things I did, so it is well worth the money if you can afford it. And a boomerang themed to Jolly Ranchers is what you'll find at a place like Hersheypark. I don't care what they theme it as. If I've already ridden a boomerang, I'm never gonna ride it again. And I rode this one many years ago. Don't need to do it again. And this is Storm Runner, the park's launched coaster. It is really fun. One of the crazier layouts, like someone just sat down and drew a ride one day and said, well, let's build this. You'll see more of it later. And it was a walk-on into the station, even without the fast track. We got a dance party over in the tunnel on the boomerang. They did something like that at Wallaby in Holland for their boomerang, and it still stinks. I wrapped up my ride on Storm Runner. I have to admit, it is a little rougher than the last time I was here. I think that was 2016. Actually, I know it was. I always remember that because the Cubs were in the World Series the last time I was here. And that does not happen very often in my life, so easy to remember. The boomerang going backwards into its little dance party tunnel. Should remove all these from Earth. Since this is as close as I'm going to get to the station on this ride, I did think it was funny that they have light up Jolly Rancher candies all over the station. What a park. More of a view of Storm Runner on its crazy course. And Hershey is built onto a pretty substantial hill. Just so you understand that, you are going to walk up and down a very big hill at some point in your day. I'm currently walking down it because I already walked up it, and I will walk back up it again later. Every park has a mine train, and they have Trailblazer here. I don't think it's running today actually, but it's pretty tame even for a mine train. Another hill basically a valley I just went through. You're gonna get your steps in at Hershey. One of the cool things they do here, they actually think about the entire family. So they have 3 different space shot attractions, each getting bigger as you go. So your kids can work their way up. And actually, when they ride the Hershey one, they feel like they accomplished something as they get older. I think it's a cool idea. This is a better look at Storm Runner. One of the weirdest layouts. It is really fun, but like I said, it is a little rougher right now than it used to be. Somehow Fahrenheit seems smoother. That used to always be kind of the rough one. And I love that they have all these water fountains around. Gotta stay hydrated, it is hot. So here you get a really good look at Storm Runner's layout. There it goes. So that's right after the launch. It shoots into that top hat for some airtime. You do this inversion, come back down, and then do this like 1.5 barrel roll or whatever this is. And you're pretty much done after that. Super short ride, maybe 45 seconds, but a lot of fun. Very distinct layout. Nothing else like it. Great Bear is the park's B&M inverted coaster. One of the strangest layouts they've ever created, but we're gonna go ride it. The Great Bear line, you can see the log flume. Well, it's not a log flume, coal cracker, and I just got splashed with water. Huh. These old Arrow boat rides. I gotta look up the real name of these, but we got these little airtime hills. I always remember Six Flags Great America in Chicago had this when I was growing up. It really scared the crap out of me. From here you can see a pretty good view of Great Bear's unique layout. I can't think of any other B&M invert that has a first drop like this where it kind of swoops around and then finally drops, but I've always had to do a row 4 or 5 on this thing to sit in the bigger seats, so I got a back row today and it was a lot of fun. It's an interesting ride, not the greatest B&M invert, but I like it. It's at least unique. Yeah, really fun. Oh, I see Skyrush over there. We need to get over there. That's one of my favorites. And this area is really cool. You have the Coal Cracker, Super Duper Looper, Skyrush, Great Bear, all kind of going through the same area. And then I was talking about Coal Cracker earlier with that airtime hill. You can see it here. You watch these boats do this little hop. Stacked on top of each other over here. You got Comet, the white wooden coaster. You can see Skyrush, the yellow one. Great Bear, one of its inversions. I love this area. Just rides on top of rides on top of rides. Such a weird first drop. It's almost like they wanted a family, you know? I don't know. I mean, it still does all the same normal B&M invert stuff, so. Okay, so I mentioned this at Knoebels the other day, but I call them walking tacos. I can't think of what Knoebels calls them now, but it always bugs me because I think they're walking tacos. So if Hershey says they are too, is it just a Knoebels thing? I am a sucker for these towers. If a park has one, I'm always going to do it. So I am going to do the Kissing Tower. Get a great view of the park up there. And kissing is allowed with food or drink, is not. So since I'm at the park by myself today, do I have to kiss a stranger next to me? How's that work? So you can see the street lamps over there. Some are wrapped kisses and some are unwrapped.
Today, Miss Hershey, the sweetest place on earth. With Milton Hershey's support, houses, businesses, and entertainment came into existence, creating the town we know today. Let's take a closer look at some of the attractions inspired by our founder. Hersheypark was originally created as leisure parks for the employees at Hershey's Chocolate Factory. Today, our family...
That's the former factory over here. And then I believe this is actually the current one. Climb a 140-foot hill. It max speeds of 62 miles per hour. Dive into an 82-degree drop. Invert 4 times. Stop your prey through the world's largest thunderclip on 3 custom trains. Great Bear, Super Duper Looper, Skyrush, Candymonium, way off. Ride that later. Gonna do the monorail. Storm Runner, not Storm Chaser. That's in Indiana or Kentucky. Park is the Hershey Gardens, home to the Milton and Catherine Hershey Conservatory. Visit today and flutter along with hundreds of
and here's the Zoo America also over here. There's a lot to do at Hershey.
You will also notice some of the signature Hershey icons, including the Hershey Smokestack.
This park has become very popular the last 10 or so years.
Chocolate Factory and Hershey's Kisses-shaped street lamps throughout the town of Hershey. Across the street is the historic Hershey Theater. The theater was a part of Mr. Hershey's Great Building campaign.
There's a Skyrush up the lift hill with its super fast cable lift. Oh, I love that ride.
Hersheypark Stadium and the Hotel Hershey. Next to the Hotel Hershey is Catherine Hall.
Way off in the distance, Wildcat's Revitalized and Fahrenheit.
Hershey Company are proud to help fulfill the dream of our future founder.
Well, that was some false advertising. I asked at least 4 or 5 people if they wanted to make out with me on the ride, and no one said yes. And I've never noticed this in the park, but I was saying there on the kissing tower, you can see in the town of Hershey, the street lamps are all Hershey Kisses. They're either wrapped or unwrapped. And here's what one of the wrapped ones looks like. I wonder if there's an unwrapped one around. And back down the hill again. Lots of big rides down here. Park's classic attraction, besides Common, is Super Duper Looper. This is every kid's first looping coaster that grows up around here. Back when I used to watch the Goldbergs, they actually had an episode about Super Duper Looper and coming to Hersheypark. And that was his first big roller coaster. We're at the base of the drop here and the loop. And here down in the valley you can see more Great Bear's first drop. Right into that loop. Great Bear isn't gonna, knock anyone's socks off, but it is a really fun ride. It's kind of near the end of that, like 1990s run of really good B&Ms before they became more, I guess, common. And then here comes Super Duper Looper again. Super Duper Looper. try that one more time. And there's probably some kid experiencing their first loop right now. Probably terrified, or they've created another nerd. You never know. Everywhere you look, huge roller coasters. Storm Runner off in the distance. We got Great Bear right here. Skyrush off to the left. This really has become one of the best parks in the country. Skyrush is, well, formerly, I guess we'll see here shortly, has always been my favorite ride here. I consider it one of my probably top 10 favorite steel coasters in the world. That top 10 probably consists of 25 to 30 rides, but I always say Skyrush is in that list. It is super intense. The airtime is incredible. It's called Thigh Crush for a reason. I was fortunate enough to ride it the opening year before they slowed the top of the lift hill down, and it was absolutely insane. I love this ride. Just waiting to show you the elevator lift cable here, because this thing flies up the lift hill. There it goes. I think it's like 22 miles an hour. Thing's over 200 feet tall, and look how fast it gets up there. Absolutely crazy. So they have two different seat options. There's a wing seat where you don't have a floor, and there's a normal seat with a floor. The wing seats are out of control. I'm gonna have to do one today, but man, they are one of the craziest things you'll ever do. All right, I just had a, I think it was row 6 ride on the wing, and they are just absolutely crazy rides. I would never ride that with my hands up. It is just too intense. I have to hold on or my thighs would just get absolutely obliterated, but that ride is still incredible, smooth, fast, ejector air all over the place. One of the best first drops in the world, I think. You don't touch your seat the whole way down. They're only running one train, so the lines are pretty bad even with the fast lane. I probably waited 15 minutes. I mean, that's not bad, but it takes a while with one train. So I'm gonna go hit Candymonium now that I'm up here. Then I'm gonna start working my way around the park and hit some things multiple times before I get out of here. All right. And just off to the side of Skyrush's entrance, there's this little walkway you can take back to the front of the park. I'm gonna do it to get some great views of the rides and work my way back to Candymonium. There goes Skyrush. Seems like even fewer people use this path than they used to with the new entrance and everything. Oh, Skyrush is so beautiful. What a great ride. All the way over here, you can still see parts of Great Bear. I don't know why I can't pronounce the word parts. Gotta have an old school out and back Woody. the cable lift. One of the best drops in the world.
That's what it felt like on Wildcat. Wild
Easily the quietest area in the park. I love it over here. Seen maybe like 10 people walk down this path since I've been over here. This absolutely incredible ride. Pure airtime everywhere. Still in love with this thing after all these years. And if you ever wanted to meet a Hershey chocolate bar or a Twizzler, here's your chance. So right as you come into the park, they have this Hershey Kiss water fountain that Candymonium ends its circuit by doing a helix around. Very cool addition to the park. It's time to ride Candymonium. So this whole front entry area is completely revamped since I've last been here. They moved the carousel over here. They built this whole, like, I don't know, shopping and restaurant area. Just seems much more refined. It's really nice. You can tell Hershey is really trying to step up. Here in the ride plaza area, you can see it going up the lift hill, and then kind of the ending area over by the Hershey Kiss fountain. I got a couple rides on Candymonium. Oddly enough, it was a 5-minute wait, if that. You basically walk right up to the station. It was over an hour this morning because it's, I mean, you literally walk in the turnstiles and this is the first thing you see, so it builds a line quick. I was watching the app over the weekend and it seemed to maintain that line all day, but for some reason today it's 5 minutes, so take advantage of it when you can. It's a good ride. Pretty standard B&M Hyper, nothing crazy to write home about, but it is really fun and it's a great addition to the park. And they have a shooting ride here. They rethemed it a few years ago. This will be my first time doing it. Has to be better than the old one. Okay, so I basically rode this to make fun of it because the previous version of this ride was one of the worst shooters I've ever, probably the worst I've ever been on. It was cheesy, it was poorly done, but This is really good. It reminds me of the Minions ride that just opened at Universal, and I think it's better. And you get to sit down. Yeah, make sure you ride this if you're here, because this is a legit, really good themed shooting ride. It's a weird little ride, but I like it.
Practice and provide you with a safe water environment. If you have questions regarding lifeguard procedures, please ask at guest services.
It's very hot here today, so the water park area, we conclude the splashdown ride. It's very busy. I think a lot of people came over here. And I did make the trek to the back of the park. Got to get at least one more ride on this bad boy before I get on the road. Spent a lot more time here probably than I expected today, but I'm having an awesome time, and that's all that matters. Blinding sun today. Oh, that cloud's out. All right, giant fans of fun, that's going to do it for us today from Hersheypark in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I had an absolutely incredible day. I spent about, almost 7 hours here. That's a long time for me at a park these days. I don't do that, but just having too good of a time. Wanted to keep riding stuff, wanted to keep doing things. Hershey is one of the premier theme parks in the country. I put them up there with Cedar Point at this point. I mean, they are that next tier down from like Disney and Universal, but I'd put Hershey over Busch Gardens. It's a really good park, man. And like all the new entryway stuff, there's so much more to do. They've kind of made it a destination. I am not going to have time to do the chocolate tour experience this time. Unfortunately, I've got over a 3-hour drive. It's getting late. I don't want to be driving too late, so I'm gonna skip out on that. But if you're ever here, there's a free dark ride in there and a lot of cool stuff. So take the kids over, check it out. It's definitely worth it. But all in all, Wildcat's Revenge is the star of the park now. Skyrush takes a back seat, but just barely. But I would put Wildcat's Revenge as my number 2 RMC, just behind Steel Vengeance. It's probably a top 5 Steel for me. It is just pure intensity. What a great layout. Yeah, like I said, Skyrush is still great. Fahrenheit is running well. Storm Runner could use some work. Candymonium's fun. But man, this park's great. You got to get out here. All right, that's all I can say about it. So that'll do it for today. Thanks for following along. A couple more parks before I head back to Orlando. Busch Gardens and King's Dominion will be the parks, so spoil that surprise, but whatever. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a lot of giant fun, because I did, and we'll see you next time. On my way out, I'm just taking a little better look at what they're referring to as Chocolatetown now. This is so much better than it used to be. Way more open, way more like ticket windows. It used to be a very tiny little path into the entrance, and like you could get like 3 lines in there. So it's just so much better, because it was packed this morning when I showed up, and it was no problem getting in. They do have trams for the parking lot. It is a big parking lot. So yeah, use those. I'm a walker, so I'm gonna walk. Goodbye, Hershey. Man, a lot of great rides here. Especially that guy over there. Yep, I'm weird.